Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be talking about one of the wildest things that have happened in my entire life. And it was my ayahuasca experience. I do want to start off by saying that this is a very spiritual experience. I'm not recommending it to anybody. I'm just telling you what happened when I did it. If you do plan on doing it, just make sure that the facility is safe. Make sure the shaman is very experienced. I've heard some horror stories. So just be safe, guys. So let's get into it. After 2 weeks of fasting, it's finally spiritual judgment day. We get to the facility. The shaman brings us into the ceremony room. We all sit down on our little mats. We get everything comfortable. And she starts explaining to us the 3 steps that we're going to take to complete the ayahuasca. So she starts with the first one, which is the rapé, which is tobacco. And they put it into this like horn. Yeah, it looks like a horn. They blow it into your nose, so you each go up one at a time, and they blow it into each nostril. And it's kind of painful. You're gonna tear up, you're probably gonna cough, but you start feeling very calm afterwards. Like all your anxiety starts to go away, and like any worries you had kind of go away a little bit. And the second step is the eye drops. And I believe that's supposed to enhance the visuals a little bit. It does burn, so once again, you get another burning sensation. To me, it wasn't that bad. A lot of people were like groaning and moaning in pain. I don't think it was that bad. It just feels like if your eyes were really, really red and you put Visine in them, kind of that same feeling. And then the third step is the actual tea, the actual ayahuasca. It's like this thick, muddy, earthy tea, mud tea. We're gonna call it mud tea. It doesn't taste really bad. It just tastes very earthy. It just tastes like you're drinking grass and dirt and all that fun stuff. So took it to the head. They turned all the lights down. So you just kind of lay there. Just wait for it to happen. And I would say 30, 45 minutes in, I start to feel it. My body starts to get heavy. And then the visuals started. And it's kind of like what you would expect the trip to start out as. It's just a bunch of swirling lights and you're kind of flying through them, and it's like turning into different shapes and hexagons and circles and triangles, and you're kind of just going through it all, and it was really beautiful. And then it got a little weird. So after I'm going through this for what felt like 5 minutes, I end up in this white room. It's just all white. At that moment, nothing else is there. And all I hear in the background is surrender. And I know going into this experience, you are supposed to surrender yourself to it. And you're not supposed to fight it because it just makes it worse. So I said, I surrender. Then I started feeling a pain in my head. And I got the visual of this huge goddess-like deity. And she had very long, pointy black nails. And she was just putting them into my head consecutively. Just on and on and on. And it felt like 10 minutes that went on. And in the middle of it, I'm saying, I surrender, I surrender. I'm kind of like begging her to stop. And I kind of get the sense that she doesn't feel that I'm ready. At one point, I just start to feel, I want to say like weaker. Like I kind of was just giving up. The pain was so excruciating. I've never had a migraine that extreme. It's like a migraine times 10. And it was so severe, and I literally felt like I took my last breath. And once I did that and I fully surrendered, she stopped. And once she stopped, it was the best feeling in the world not to have that migraine. It was just horrible. And she kind of told me, okay, now you're ready. And I see that you surrendered. And I kind of got the feeling that I had to do the purging. So I get up out of the little ceremony room, which the shaman warned us, if we do go out of the ceremony room, we're not really protected anymore. So I get up, I walk outside where there's like a little pool area, and as soon as I walk out, it just felt like I just felt like a feeling of despair. The sky was red, the pool, which was nice and blue when I first got there, was like cherry red. It wasn't like blood red, it wasn't thick, it was just bright red. And I looked around and I just saw all these entities walking around, and it was pretty creepy. It kind of felt like I was in hell at that moment, which was very weird. It was scary, but like I knew I was okay. So I sat down, I got my little bucket, and I started to purge. And one of the other people that were there with us that also did the ayahuasca, he came up to me and kind of talked me through it. And in my visuals though, he looked like a reaper. He had this like big gray coat on, there was a scythe, but he was talking me through it. It's kind of like he was like guarding me, kind of helping me through the process. So after the last bit of me purging, I heard this loud like bone crack, which was so chilling, and I still to this day hear that little noise. It's a little creepy. But so after that happened, I felt so much better. I went back into the ceremony room. Once I laid back down, I felt like my spirit shot up to heaven. And these like 6 or 7 little angels, fairies just surrounded me and created this like fluorescent, colorful shield. It was like yellows and pinks and reds and blues. And they were just like protecting me. And they were giving me all this positive affirmation, telling me amazing things about myself, and just kind of like eliminating any insecurities that I had. And I don't think I've ever felt that amount of love ever in my life. It was, I mean, unbelievable. It was amazing. They took me back to certain time periods of my life that weren't the most positive, things that I felt that I could have changed or that were just like surrounded in shame. And I feel like this part was just all about self-forgiveness. And I went through every scenario, and by the end of each of the scenario, I ended up kind of like laughing at myself, kind of like stripping away the ego. Like, why were you taking yourself so seriously? Why were you just so consumed on these little problems when there was a bigger picture? You're part of something bigger. You know, your spirit is one with everyone else's spirit. That was kind of like the vibe I was getting. It was just so monumental to everything. It just made me feel complete in a sense. Then I'm in this scenario where I feel like I'm going like hyper speed through space, and my face just pops up, and then it starts morphing into like my older brother, then my oldest brother, then my father, then his father, and it just felt like it just kept going generation to generation, just morphing into these different people that kind of looked like me but weren't me. These 3 men showed up, and the only way I could explain how they looked was very tethered, beards, kind of like cavemen, but I didn't think they were cavemen, maybe like 12 generations away. I kind of got the feeling like they were supporting me and they were there for me, but they were like damaged and hurt. And I kind of just told them to just forgive the past and just move on, and I'm okay, and you don't have to protect me anymore, just be happy. And kind of that situation was going on where it was kind of just like loving them and just letting them go and letting them be free. And this scenario happened about 3 times. The next time it was like 3 pirates, and they were wearing like these like blue pirate uniforms, and I think it was like a white scarf. And it was kind of the same scenario, just letting them be free and letting go of my past and just moving forward. It was kind of like I've had all these ancestors on my shoulders, and it was just immense pain generation to generation, and it was kind of like me releasing it for them and also for me. Amazing feeling to just go through that. So then I start to come out of the visuals, and I'm back in the ceremony room, and things look a little different. The walls look a little different. The shaman is singing and playing music, and her husband is as well. And at one point, she's singing, and it looks like there's 2 pillars that come up next to her, and she looks like Mother Mary holding a baby. And there's like all these candles and beautiful lighting around her. And it just looked like it was just this beautiful moment of rejoice. And her husband looked like this like huge bird entity, which was pretty cool. And then I was looking around the room at the people that took the ayahuasca with us, and certain people I could see like their inner spirit. Like one guy was like this bull. This other guy was like this like a skeletal deer looking thing, and he was playing the drums. It was a very interesting experience. And at this point, the little fairy angel entities, they're still around me, and I still see the fluorescent shield kind of like protecting me, keeping me safe. The music went on for about an hour or 2. At one point it was very inclusive. We all kind of danced together, we held hands. And then towards the end of the night, we all sat in a circle, introduced ourselves, told a little piece of our experience, and it was a very kumbaya moment. All in all, I feel like I had a great trip. The beginning was a little scary, a little deathy, but all in all, I left with a sense of spiritual enlightenment. I left with a sense of peace, and I'm just happy I had the experience. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Please like, subscribe, share, comment, and I'll see you next time.